All right.
What's up, everyone? Sorry for the delay there. It seems like some things were moved around that I was not expecting, but welcome into Zain Zinger Part 2. Again, apologies for the delay there. I had no, I don't know. I don't know. They must have changed their layout or something because I don't know, my microphone was hidden for me. But nevertheless, though, we're here. It's Sunday morning. I hope you guys can hear me okay. We're hours after the Canelo Alvarez Terrence Crawford fight, which ended like 8 or so hours ago, maybe 9 hours ago. Crazy, or no, it's been longer than that. Nevertheless, though, it was under 24 hours ago that the card ended. Um, it was. We'll get into that. We'll talk about Noche UFC. We'll get into college football. We'll talk about some of the reactions to everything going on in the world of sports for the next 30 or so minutes. So we'll make up for the lost time we had there. As again, another week where I don't know what's up with connectivity issues sometimes with this platform on Sundays, but it is what it is. Nevertheless, we're here. We're on now. So let's get into it. Canelo Crawford. Here we go. So this was a huge fight, obviously, from Las Vegas, Allegiant Stadium, 65,000 people. Terrence Crawford becomes the new undisputed super middleweight champion, doing so by defeating Canelo Alvarez by decision to win the titles. There, great fight overall, very very entertaining fight. The first couple rounds were a major feeling out process until Crawford really started to find his footing in about round four or so. And I liked his combinations that he was putting together. I liked how he was sort of backing Canelo up, but it wasn't in the way that people thought where Crawford might throw power shots and might try to knock him out. It was very tentative. It was very, very cautious, and it was very, very smart overall. So it was one of those where I think a lot of people could take away from it and go, okay, Crawford can not only hang with the best boxers in the world, but he made it like super telling against Canelo to where he was able to pick his shots and he was able to do so in a smart manner, which I thought was really, really interesting. So Crawford, obviously, the big debate now is where does he go down in the pound for pound grades of all time? Is he better than Floyd Mayweather? I'm going to say no, just because the resume of Terrence Crawford is highly questionable as opposed to Floyd Mayweather. We're talking about, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo, Manny Pacquiao, et cetera, et cetera. Crawford does have resume wins, I'll give him that. But when his only real win that people know about, that at least are casual fans, is Canelo, that's a bit of a concern. So I think he needs to win a couple more in order to cement himself in the conversation with Floyd Mayweather, et cetera, et cetera. That's easier said than done, though. I'm not sure if uh, if he will. He kind of hinted that it may be his last fight. It might not be. He was very unclear about it as to what may happen. But overall, though, I thought it was a solid win for Terrence Crawford. A very, very interesting fight, a fun fight overall. And the social media reaction online was pretty telling too. Seems like millions of people were watching that fight. Overall, a good fight. I enjoyed watching it. The card was decent. We had a couple interesting results. Callum Walsh defeating Fernando Vargas. That was a good fight as well. He's obviously a huge pillar in Dana White's Zuffa boxing system that they're going to be starting here. He's a star that they want to build. So he looked good. What else? The Boachuk Brandon Adams fight was decent. Um, the first fight of the night, the Ken Crawford fight versus the guy from Saudi Arabia. I can't pronounce his name, but that was a decent fight too. Um, Overall, I thought the card was pretty solid, but the pacing was just not great. Um, Dana White made it extremely clear that he would have a say in the pacing. I don't know if he did or if he didn't, but the pacing on this event was just not there whatsoever. It was not there at all. And it was one of those where, as an MMA fan, you don't really see pacing concerns like that. So that was really disappointing to see as well. I didn't love that. The pacing wasn't very good. But overall, I thought the fights were decent. The Netflix stream was awesome. I really had no issues besides the audio outage briefly, but that was for everyone. But overall, I thought the stream was great, and I thought it was a good production. I thought Anik and Kellerman and Ward were great on commentary. I think John Anik, if he's offered to do more boxing, I think he would do it. I think he would do it for sure. I think that's one where he fit right into it. He fit well into it, and yeah, I think he did a great job with the resources he had. So that's gonna be interesting. All right, let's talk about some tweets now that were sent to me earlier this morning about Turkey Al Sheikh. Who else? Let's see. So we had so we had a couple tweets. Logan Paul believes that Jake Paul beats Canelo Alvarez. I don't know. I don't know about that. This version, I don't know. It's a close fight, but if he beats him outright, I don't know. And then Oscar De La Hoya, because of course he has to stir the pot, tweeted at Turkey El Sheikh to please fire your matchmakers. I don't know. I think money's going to talk there. I think it's going to trump a lot of things. So no, I don't think they'll be firing. I don't think Turkey will be firing his matchmakers anytime soon. I think that's a load of baloney. That will never happen unless they're like fully out of the boxing business. Meaning as an entity, meaning Nick Khan and Dana White. I don't think they'll be firing their matchmakers anytime soon. One part I didn't want to get to, which has caused a bit of a stir online, is Dana White not appearing for the post-fight press conference after the event was over. It was tweeted out by a few of the media members that were there, but there was no clear answer as to why Dana was not present at the post-fight press conference. So I just want to talk about that. That's been more of a regular occurrence, even in MMA these days, where he doesn't really show up to a lot of post-fight media. He's done let's see. He's done the last 4 UFC pay-per-views where he's shown up, but there's been a couple where he just hasn't shown up. UFC 315, most notably, was one of them. Um, let's see. You'd have to UFC 305. I don't think he was there. That would have been in Perth, Australia. He's been at a couple of them to where he's physically at the event, but he doesn't show up for availability. And that's another interesting question as well as to why he didn't show up. There could be a multitude of reasons. Let's see. For one, there may have been stuff he had to handle business wise. Two, he had an emergency to attend to, or three, he just probably wasn't interested because I'm sure he was going to be asked the same questions over and over. Why was the pacing so bad? Um, what's next for you? What's next for Crawford? Like all the same questions you would get at basically a regular UFC presser was probably going to happen, and he probably didn't want to deal with any of it. That's my theory. I don't know why. I've asked around. No one has gotten back to me as to why he wasn't there. But that was a big shock because they waited for at least 40 minutes to see if he would show up after Canelo was done, because Canelo was the last person to go. Because it went Callum Walsh, Terrence Crawford, and then Canelo. Because I don't think all the winners came back, as far as at least none that were filmed on the stream I watched. From a post-fight media availability standpoint, so it would have. I think it was very similarly to how the UFC does things, where they bring the winners back after every fight, and they hold the co-main and main event until after the event is over. That's what it seemed like. So, with that being said, that ended the press conference on a bit of a shocking note. It would have been interesting to hear what he had to say. I was hoping to react to some of the stuff he said. Well, he said nothing, so I can't say anything because he wasn't there. So that's another element to that nobody fully understands, and I don't know if anybody will understand. But nevertheless, that was Canelo Crawford. I did decent on the card. I went 6-3-1. So in the history of Zuffa boxing so far, I'm 13-5-1 through 3 shows under the umbrella, which is not bad. They had a show Wednesday night, Thursday night, and then last night. So that was interesting. All right, let's see what else we had. So Noche UFC, Diego Lopez knocks out John Silva in the second round. That was an awesome fight. Diego Lopez lands a spinning back elbow to hurt John Silva and then finish him with ground and pound. Great fight. High action fight. First round was unbelievable. Lopez looked like he was going to finish him in the first round in the mount position. Silva survived. He got back up. And then the second round was just all flurries, all just barrages between the two. And Silva got caught. It was a great fight. He had a 13-fight win streak going in, which is now snapped. And overall, it was a fun card. A lot of exciting finishes on the card. Rafa Garcia looked awesome. Let's see. Even though Kelvin Gastelum missed weight, he looked pretty good. Who else fought that looked impressive? Rendon and Pereira. That was a fight that stuck out for sure. Pereira only 19 years old, so that was interesting. Let's see what else was on the card that was notable. 14 fights in total, which I thought was a solid card. Let's see. No shade. Yeah, I went 8-5-1, and then Jack went 7-6-1. We differed on a couple fights. The one that he and I didn't he and I disagreed on. Let's see. Which one would it have been? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 8. Let's see. Oh, it's because. Oh, that's why. It's because he had Pereira and I had Rendon. That's the one fight we differed on. Otherwise, we would have had the same record. But overall, a solid card though. Let's see. Um, um, yeah, David Martinez looked good. I didn't have him. The Ferreira fight was fun, but I think I got that right. Yeah, I had Hernandez. I think I had Hernandez. Um, but yeah, I did really well on this main card. Let's see, how did I do? I went. Oh no, I went 500 on the main card. And how did I do on the prelims? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 2-1 on the prelims. 5-2-1. Wait, yeah, 5-2-1 because that is 8 fights. Yeah, and then the one no contest was the Zach Reese Cedric Dumas fight, which was very unfortunate. It was a accidental foul to Dumas from Reese, which called the fight off, which was extremely disappointing. Overall, though, it was a good fight while it lasted. Some of these picks were easy, in my opinion. Some of them were really easy. Don Shanko looked awesome too. He looked really good to win the Ultimate Fighter. So congratulations to him on that. Overall, though, a solid card holistically. So that puts my record now. I know you guys like to know this. My record now for UFC is 217, 157, and 3. And Jack now is 229, 145, and 3 after last night. So we're doing pretty good. I'm only 12 fights behind him, so that's not bad. That's pretty solid, I would say. And there's still 12, 13 events to go, so that's not bad. Um, but yeah, let's see what else was there with that. Um, no UFC next week. Next week is my birthday. There's no card. Then we have a card in Perth. Then we do UFC 320 in Las Vegas. Then we do let's see, UFC 320 in Vegas. Then we do Brazil with Oliver and Fiziev. Then we do Vancouver. That's the Ritter and Hernandez. Then it's UFC 321 pay per view from Abu Dhabi. Aspinall Lagan. And then after that, it's a fight at the Apex, November 1st and November 8th, which are which are two out of the last three Apex events of the year. And then they go to Madison Square Garden. Then they go to Qatar. Then they have a week off. Then they come home to Vegas for the last pay per view of the year. For UFC, it would be 323, which doesn't have a main event yet, and then they finish at the Apex. So, actually, wait, I think do I have that right? Let's make sure. Do I have that correct? Yeah, I've listed every UFC on this. I have a document that tracks all this stuff. Let's see. Let's see here. Yeah, last event of the year is Apex, December 13th. So that's the UFC calendar. So we know the rest of the year moving forward through the end of December. So in about 3 months and 1 day yesterday, the year will be over. So there's that. Let's get off MMA now. Let's talk about college football briefly. Week 3 is in the books. How did we do in predictions? Well, I'm going to tell you. So Illinois covered their spread 27.5 to win 38 to nothing. This is my Bandos Blitz recap if you guys didn't know. The one we lost was Northwestern. We had them covering. They did not cover. They only won 34 to 14. Oregon beat Northwestern 34 to 14, failing to cover the spread there. So that's a loss in that category as well. So that puts us at 2-3 because we were 1-2 last week, and then the other one we had, which I don't think we covered. Let's take a look. I didn't see the score. Um, 33-17. And USC was favored by 4 touchdowns, which means I don't think they covered this. Let's make sure. Yeah, they didn't cover this. So we didn't do that well because they were a 4 touchdown favorite and they only won 33-17. So that's not enough. That's clearly not. That's like a 2 possessions and a half. Again, that's a 16-point win for the Trojans there. So they didn't cover. They were minus 21. They didn't cover that. So we fell to 2-4. So we only won one game again this week. We won on Illinois, so we went 1-2. So it's a little bit disappointing. So we went 1-2 the first time we did this in week 2. We're 1-2 again. So obviously not great there. Yeah. So we got to get better holistically on these picks and shouldn't have picked too many big spreads. So there's that. So sorry to you guys, but at least you guys won on Illinois minus 27.5. They won 38 to nothing. So shout out to Illinois for getting that done. So that's great. All right, let's move on now. Let's talk about some NFL survivors. Oh, before we do that though, let's see how I did on my college football Yahoo picks against the spread because we've been doing those. Let's see how we did. All right, let's see how we did. So we went 12-10 yesterday. We're at 41 points for the year so far. How did we do? Saturday was a tough day. We lost a lot. We lost A&M. We lost East Carolina. We lost South Carolina. We lost Utah State and Air Force. We won on the Minnesota California pick, which was a good pick. Let's see. Yeah. So 13. We went 12-10. So now we're at 41-29 for the year overall on college football for Yahoo. Let's take a look at college football for ESPN because we always do those as well. Let's take a look at those. I don't know how we did. Let's see how we did. I have no clue. I haven't checked yet, so let's take a look at ESPN. We're 500. We're 500 straight up. How did we do yesterday? We went 4-6 overall yesterday. Um, for ESPN, so we're 500 through the first 3 weeks. Against the spread, though, we're 17-13, which is pretty solid. We went 7-3 against the spread yesterday. We had Alabama, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas Tech, uh, um, Ohio State didn't cover yesterday. Arkansas covered, Miami covered, LSU covered. So yeah, we hit on a bunch of them. So there's that. All right, let's talk about survivors before we wrap up here for the NFL today. The one in ESPN we're going with today is the Bills. Let's close that out. The one we went on with ESPN for today is the Bills to beat the Jets outright. And so far, we hit on the first game of the week, which was Green Bay and the Commanders. Let's go into Yahoo Pro Football Pick'em. Overall record so far is 12-5 on Yahoo. We got the Bengals as survivor, Dallas, Detroit, the Rams, the Patriots, the 49ers, the Bills, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Colts in an upset over Denver, Arizona, the Chiefs, the Vikings, the Buccaneers, and in a huge upset to keep the Vegas vibes rolling, the Las Vegas Raiders. So those are my survivors for the NFL. That's going to wrap it up, though, for Zain Zinger Part 2. This was a fun edition again. I talked about a bunch of stuff here: college football, NFL, Canelo, Crawford, UFC, etc., etc. And because I didn't mention this, Illinois gets its first shutout since August of last year, winning 38-0 over Western Michigan. They are 3-0 now. Curious to see where they end up in the AP polls when they release later on. So we'll talk about all that on Friday for Bando's Breakdowns episode 60. So you won't want to miss that. Congratulations to Illinois getting the shutout win. The defense was great. The offense kind of sputtered a little bit, but still did enough to get the job done against a bad Western Michigan football team. And a huge game looms against Indiana, who is also 3-0. So cannot wait to preview that game. Cannot wait for all of the madness in the world of sports. Oh, by the way, one last thing. Was not at the Cubs game yesterday. Unfortunately, he had some things come up, but congratulations to Anthony Rizzo getting his getting his moment in the sun, his 1-day retirement with the Cubs. Could not have been any cooler. The Cubs lost, but at least Rizzo got a chance to have his day in the sun. So congratulations to him. But that's going to do it, though. Zanzinger Part 2. I'm Zan Bando. Thanks for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you all. Talk to you guys next week, and thanks again. Appreciate it.